What do you think are the unique challenges to being a new youth pastor in this position? Like maybe I think there'd be different challenges for, an executive pastor, a lead pastor, or children's pastor, but what does a youth pastor face in that first year that's different that someone else in another position on staff wouldn't necessarily face?
I think teenagers are mean. It's hard to come in and win over a room full of students. And so that's definitely unique to student ministry. I think another thing just within like the wider church culture is there's kind of a stigma with student ministry. And similar to what you were talking about, Candace, where you kind of don't get the respect just off the bat. You have to earn it. Whereas like an executive pastor or a lead pastor kind of comes in and they just are handed that.
It's because they wear suits and youth pastors wear jeans and t-shirts.
Right. Yeah. But I think that's another one that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. With youth ministry being a church within a church, the leader has their own vision. The youth pastor, that leader, has a vision of where they desire the church or the ministry to go, rather, right? But then despite the youth ministry being this church right here, like this church, within a church, there is the greater church, right? And with that greater church, there is a leader of the greater church. And the leader of that greater church sometimes has a vision themselves of where they want the youth ministry to go. So there might be points of tension right there because the youth leader might be, hey, I'm the expert here. I've been doing this for a while. I know students in a way that this old person, let me not say that the pastor's an old person, but and the way that the lead pastor might not know students. Just because the lead pastor has been a youth pastor doesn't mean that the lead pastor has been a youth pastor in the same capacity in which their youth pastor is currently a youth pastor, if that makes any sense, right? But just sometimes coming together and the two coming together and really getting on one page when it comes to the vision of the youth ministry can be really, really challenging.
That's good.
You've got to be a student of your boss.
Yep.
Right. And I think a great question is, what are your dreams for youth ministry, or what would you? What is success? What is success for you in your eyes when it comes to student ministry? And just listen. And don't get in a hurry. Like that doesn't mean then you have to jump directly into your dreams if they're different. That may mean you need to take a couple of weeks. Have a couple of quiet times before you respond if yours is different. Hopefully you haven't taken the job yet if it's that different. But just don't get in a hurry. I think a ton of people get into a hurry. As far as what's hard, I think, and a couple of things, but I think when it's your first time being the boss, sometimes it's hard to actually just make the decision and feel comfortable in it, And so I see that a lot is where people are just, they'll do one or the other. Like they get power hungry and then they start making decisions, and they're the ones who always want you to know where they are on the org chart. They don't really do well because they don't lead teams well, right? The best leaders are servants. I don't know who said that, but that was really good advice.
Someone should write that down.
Right. But often it's just, okay. Andy Stanley used to say, what are you going to do when it dawns on you that you're the most powerful person in the room? Well, sometimes it's just make the decision. You can end the meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just make sure you hear everybody and then confidently say, you know what? We've talked about that. I hope we all can be on the same page about this, but this is the direction we're going to move. And even if people disagree with it, it brings comfort to the culture because someone's going to make a decision. Someone's going to help us move on. And, so if you're the boss, you got to be it. And it's hard that first time. It sounds weird coming out of your mouth, but it helps.